Good morning. This is TMI Socials. Welcome on board. Here you get to find out everything trending on social media. I am Anu Stevens, or better still, call me your social media butterfly. Now this morning, we get to kickstart with the biggest story making the round at the moment, as we did see hashtag Sanusi yesterday online. Well, the federal government battles to overcome multiple economic and security challenges, it will not get any help from one of the country's most prominent traditional rulers, the Emir of Kano, Muhammadu Sanusi. Well, the Emir, a former governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, made his position and plans concerning the economy and the government known in Lagos on Wednesday at the memorial lecture of Chief Gani Fawini. Now let's move over to the scene of the event where he said everything verbatim. Take a look.
I can stand here today and I can give a few points that are contrary, a few points that explain perhaps what we're going through and how it was totally predictable, most of it, and maybe avoidable. But I'm not going to do that. I've chosen not to speak about the economy and the reforms, or to even explain anything, because if I explain, it would help this government, and I don't want to help the government. I don't want to help this government. You know?
Now, how did you react to him online yesterday? Let's have a couple of tweets regarding this story. We'll start with this user who says, and I quote, "Like you helped Buhari and Jonathan." This guy is asking on X this morning. Another user says, "It's a powerful statement about accountability and trust. When leaders fail to act with transparency and integrity, they lose the support of those who could help them." Still in this beat, another user says, "The reason I love Emir Sanusi is that he does not fear anybody at all." Well, TJ says, "Dear Emma, you don't have to explain. You have acknowledged that they are on the right path, but they lack information ministers that will help the policy to Nigeria." Okay, whatever that meant there. Is that all we have? Okay, I think that's all we have on this story. Well, away from Nigeria, let's move it over to the foreign scene, where we have a bit of cheering and good news from the foreign scene. Well, Israel and Hamas have reached a ceasefire and hostage release agreement to halt more than a year of fighting in the Gaza Strip. President Biden and Qatar's Prime Minister announced separately on Wednesday. The deal comes after a week of intense negotiations mediated by Qatar, the US, and Egypt. Now, that was a press release posted yesterday on President Joe Biden's handle on X. And of course, the video of him talking about this has been flying online. So let's have a feel of it.
As at long last, I can announce a ceasefire and a hostage deal has been reached between Israel and Hamas. More than 15 months of conflict, more than 15 months of terror for the hostages, their families, the Israeli people, more than 15 months of suffering by the innocent people of Gaza. Fighting in Gaza will stop, and soon the hostages will return home to their families. The deal is structured in 3 phases. Phase 1 will last 6 weeks. It includes a full and complete ceasefire, withdrawal of Israeli forces from all the populated areas of Gaza, and the release of a number of hostages held by Hamas, including women and elderly and the wounded. And I'm proud to say Americans will be part of that hostage release in Phase 1 as well. And the Vice President and I cannot wait to welcome them.
Well, on the other hand, a lot of social media users and person who get to live abroad actually says that President Joe Biden had no hand in this. In fact, it was all Donald Trump doing. And a video has surfaced online regarding Trump talking about the same issue. Take a listen.
If those hostages aren't back, I don't want to hurt your negotiation. If they're not back by the time I get into office, all hell will break out in the Middle East. And it will not be good for Hamas, and it will not be good, frankly, for anyone. All hell will break out. I don't have to say anymore, but that's what it is.
Well, Donald Trump there with just a couple of days, I think 5 days to the big day, the inauguration of Trump as the new president of America, happening on the 20th of this month. A lot of expectations are already on the foreign scene. Anyway, let's have a couple of tweets to this story and move on with it. So this user says, and I quote, "The Democrats do not accept this and will spin it that Biden is the peacemaker. Netanyahu needs to come out to the world and speak the truth." Literally. Another user says something different. George says, "Don't get it twisted. Israel and Hamas only agreed to a ceasefire after President Trump made them do it, and not whatever Joe Biden claims he did." Trump told both sides he wanted a deal made before his inauguration, and it happened just like that. Is that so? Another user says, "Thank you, Mr. President. It wouldn't have been possible without your leadership. We give credit when it is due." Well, finally on the story, this user on X says, "Let the children play with getting credits. The hostages are coming home. That is all that matters right now." 5 days. It's just 5 days to the big day right there in America. Well, away from that, let's come back home here in Nigeria. On the foreign scene, the Federal High Court in Abuja has granted the bail application filed by singer Darlington, popularly known as Speed Darlington, aka Akpi. Well, Speed Darlington's lawyer, Deji Adeyanju, made this known on Wednesday when he said that the court granted the singer's bail application when the police finally arraigned him in court yesterday. Adeyanju, in a post on his X account, said, and I quote, "Police finally arraigned Speed Darlington in court. Bail application moved and granted. We are trying to perfect same." And a couple of tweets, in fact, a lot of reactions has actually circulated this story. So let's have a couple of tweets regarding this one. We'll start this morning with our first user who says, and I quote, "On what grounds was he arrested and detained? Cybercrime all of a sudden? Or am I missing something? The justice system in this country was not created to favor the poor or less privileged." Another user says, "Which international passport is he supposed to submit? Nigerian passport or his US passport or both? Also, why would he spend such amounts of money on bail and still get his freedom of movement limited?" A lot of questions everywhere. Well, this user says, "Borno Boy has finally told the police to release Akpi. Akpi would have been released since, but as CP Makemouth, Naim Borna decides to stretch him detention. Burna Boy just wanted to show the world that Cubana chief priest is nothing but bele na water, mouth na ocean, promise na river, cake na pond. If you know, you know." Amara Wintour says, "Freedom of speech is allowed, but freedom after speech is not guaranteed at all. So you better watch what you say online." Finally, this user says, "As a common man, you should always filter your words in Nigeria, because the laws are harsh on poor people." You know, I think I'll go with the other one that says freedom of speech afterwards is pretty much not allowed. So watch what you say, especially on social media. Well, finally, in the footballing scene, we get to see a story from Manchester City manager Pep Guardiola and his wife Cristina Serra. Well, they haven't separated after 30 years together. According to reports on Monday, the divorce is totally cordial, stable, and friendly. The report claimed that Guardiola drifted apart from Cristina after working in different countries for at least 5 years. The couple met in 1994 and got married in 2014 near Barcelona. Oh my goodness, 30 years together and now you're out. How did you take this online? Let's have a couple of tweets to this story. Well, this user says, and I quote, 30 years? Who will now want to leave each other for? Better stay there, oh, there's no going back, please. Well, Chioma says, on the other hand, maybe that's the reason Man City has been losing their match. Straight blow hit Man City there. Another user says, no wonder the horrible run. I knew something was wrong with Pep. Oh my God, this is so sad. Well, Nkembaba says, man is obsessed with football. He must have neglected his home. No wonder people didn't know he was married or even has kids. Okay, well, that is your own opinion. This user says they might have just delayed the divorce for the sake of the kids. Definitely, the marriage would have collapsed way before now. Divorce after this amount of years minimizes the effect on the kids. They are grown and can handle the situation better. Right, now finally on this bit, this user says, there should be a law against divorce if there are no issues of violence and cheating. How can you go away from a marriage after 30 solid good years? Like, really, who does that? Anyway, I wish all of them the best moving forward. That's how we wrap up TMI Socials this morning. Thank you so much for joining me. I am Anu Stevens. Have yourself a great day and a fantastic weekend ahead.